If you're in your 40s and worried you're behind on retirement savings, I have some good news and some real talk. The good news is you're not alone. The real talk is that the standard advice you've heard, just save 10% and you'll be fine, was written for someone who started at 25. You need a different plan. And that's exactly what we're going to build today. Let's start with the numbers that actually matter. According to Vanguard's How America Saves report, the median for 401k balance for Americans aged 35 to 44 is $44,115. Not $225,000, which is what Fidelity's 3-times salary benchmark would suggest for a $75,000 earner. The gap between where you are and where the benchmarks say you should be is real. But here's what most financial articles won't tell you: that benchmark assumes you started saving at 25 and never stopped. If you didn't, you're not failing, you're just playing a different game with different rules. The question is whether the math still works from 40. And the answer, for most people with median or above median incomes, is yes, but it requires specific changes, not vague intentions. Let me show you what the numbers actually look like. If you start at 40 with $10,000 saved and contribute $20,000 per year, that's about $1,667 per month, earning a 7% average annual return. You would have approximately $1.58 million by age 65. If you can push that to $30,000 per year, you're looking at roughly $2.37 million. Those are real numbers, and they're achievable for many households, especially when you consider that the 2026 401k contribution limit is $24,500 for anyone under 50. The key insight is that your 40s are statistically your peak earning decade. Your income is likely higher than it was at 30, your mortgage may be smaller, and your children may be more independent. This is the decade where surplus exists, if you choose to direct it toward retirement instead of lifestyle inflation. So let's talk about the exact order of operations. This is the account stacking strategy, and getting it right can mean the difference between hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement. Step 1. Contribute to your 401k up to the full employer match. This is free money. If your employer matches 5% of your salary and you're not contributing at least that much, you are literally leaving a guaranteed 50 to 100% return on the table. Nothing else in your financial life offers that. Step 2. Max out your health savings account if you have a high-deductible health plan. The HSA is the most tax-advantaged account in the entire tax code. Contributions are tax-deductible, growth is tax-free, and withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are tax-free. After age 65, you can withdraw for any purpose and it's taxed like a traditional IRA. In 2026, the individual limit is $4,300 and the family limit is $8,550. If you're in your 40s and have an HSA-eligible plan, this should be your second priority after the employer match. Step 3. Max out your 401k to the full $24,500 limit. This is the big lever. At a 22% tax bracket, every dollar you contribute saves you 22 cents in federal income tax. Over 25 years, that tax deferral alone compounds into a significant advantage. Step 4. Contribute to a Roth IRA if your income allows. The 2026 phase-out starts at $153,000 for single filers and $242,000 for married couples filing jointly. If you're above those limits, you can use the backdoor Roth strategy, contribute to a traditional IRA and then convert it to Roth. Just be aware of the pro rata rule if you have existing pre-tax IRA balances. Step 5. If you still have money to invest after maxing all tax-advantaged accounts, use a taxable brokerage account with tax-efficient index funds. This is a good problem to have. Now let's talk about the Secure 2.0 Act, because it contains a provision that directly benefits people in their 40s who are planning ahead. Starting in 2025, workers aged 60 to 63 can make a super catch-up contribution of $11,250 per year to their 401k, on top of the standard $24,500 limit. That's a total of $35,750 per year during that 4-year window. If you're 45 today, you have 15 years until that window opens. Plan your income and spending now so that you can maximize those years when they arrive. That 4-year super catch-up alone can add over $100,000 in additional contributions compared to the standard catch-up. But here's the uncomfortable truth about catch-up provisions. The standard catch-up of $7,500 kicks in at age 50. The super catch-up kicks in at 60. By then, you've already burned through the 2 most powerful decades of compounding in your life. These provisions were designed to help people who are already on track and finally have the cash flow to max out, not to rescue someone starting from zero at 50. That's why your 40s are so critical. You have the income, you have the time, and you have the account limits. The only thing missing is the discipline to execute. So let's talk about the savings rate escalator, because this is the single most effective catch-up strategy that doesn't require a massive lifestyle change overnight. The idea is simple: every time you get a raise, direct most of it to your retirement accounts before it gets absorbed by your lifestyle. If you get a $5,000 raise, put $3,000 of it into your 401k. You still get to spend $2,000 more than before, but your savings rate climbs without you feeling the pinch. If you automate a 1% increase in your 401k contribution every 6 months, you go from 3% to 13% in 5 years. That's a 10 percentage point increase that happens so gradually you barely notice it. Most people can do this. Most people don't. That's the gap. There are also a few strategic moves that can dramatically accelerate your catch-up. Negotiating your current salary is one. The average worker significantly underestimates how often this is possible, especially after several years in a role. A $10,000 raise at 44 is worth far more than one at 24, because that income compounds through 20 more working years. Career advancement is another. A promotion or job change in your 40s that increases your income by 20% can transform your retirement trajectory if you direct most of the increase to savings. Side income directed entirely to retirement is a third lever. Even $500 per month from freelance work, consulting, or a weekend side hustle, invested at 7% for 25 years, grows to over $370,000. That's not nothing. And finally, consider delaying retirement by 2 to 3 years. Working until 67 instead of 65 is mathematically equivalent to 2 additional years of contributions plus 2 fewer years of withdrawals. For a typical retirement scenario, that can add $200,000 to $400,000 to your available nest egg. It also increases your Social Security benefit, which grows by about 8% for every year you delay past your full retirement age. Let me give you a concrete example. Meet Alex. Alex is 42, earns $85,000 per year, and has $45,000 in a 401k. Alex has never maxed out a retirement account. Here's the plan. First, Alex increases the 401k contribution to 6% to capture the full employer match. That's $5,100 per year, plus the employer match of $2,550. Total, $7,650. Second, Alex opens an HSA and contributes $4,300. Since Alex is in the 22% tax bracket, that saves about $946 in federal tax. Third, Alex sets up an automatic 1% increase in the 401k contribution every 6 months. In 5 years, Alex is contributing 13% of salary, $11,050 per year, plus the match. By age 50, Alex is contributing the full $24,500 limit. At 50, the catch-up kicks in, adding another $7,500. At 60, the super catch-up adds $11,250. By 65, assuming a 7% average return, Alex's portfolio is worth approximately $1.7 million. That's not a fantasy. That's the math. The most important thing to understand is that your 40s are not too late. You have 20 to 25 years of compounding ahead of you. You have the highest contribution limits in history. You have catch-up provisions designed for your situation. You have more income than you did at 25 and more capacity to direct it towards savings. What you need is urgency, a clear plan, and the discipline to execute it without interruption. The catch-up is achievable, and it starts with the next paycheck. I'm Sarah, and this has been Wealth Unlocked. Remember, this content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making investment decisions. If you found this helpful, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you next time.